Hey friend, welcome back. This is the Daily Spark. Let's learn something fun today.
I'm Sophie. I am currently sitting here holding a massive, steaming mug of chamomile tea.
And I'm James. I actually got caught in a sudden downpour walking into the studio today.
You really did. Your jacket is completely soaked. You look like a wet cat.
It builds character, Sophie. But you know, before the rain started today, last night was perfectly clear.
Oh, I love a clear, crisp night sky. Did you go outside to look at the stars?
I did. I stood out on my balcony for almost an hour just looking up at the dark. It made me feel so incredibly small, but in a very peaceful way.
That feeling is absolute magic. But you know, talking about that feeling in English can be really intimidating.
It really is. A lot of learners just freeze up when the topic turns to space.
They think they need to sound like a genius astrophysicist just to talk about the night sky.
Exactly. It feels like you need a heavy textbook just to describe a single star.
And that is scary, but here is our promise to you today.
Talking about space and the universe is easier than you think, even if you are not a scientist.
You don't need complex math words. English is just a bridge to connect with people.
Right. We are going to show you how to chat about the stars like you're sitting with a good friend.
So, let me ask you this. Have you ever looked up at the stars and felt completely lost for words?
Oh, absolutely. All the time. It happens to me whenever I leave the city.
It's like your brain just stops working entirely. The sky is just so huge.
Right? You try to describe it to someone and all that comes out is, wow, it's really big.
Exactly. Wow, big sky. It happens to everyone.
I think it's because the universe is basically impossible to wrap your head around. Trying to imagine space is like trying to imagine an ocean that has no shore.
Oh, I love that comparison. An ocean without a shore. It's beautiful, but dizzying.
We try to observe the little details, but there's just so much empty darkness up there.
And that emptiness is so striking. I remember camping out in the desert a few years ago.
Desert skies are incredible. There is zero light pollution. You can see absolutely everything.
I laid flat on my back on the sand. It felt like I was falling up into the sky. It was almost a little bit scary, honestly, just how deep it looked.
I know that exact feeling. It's like vertigo, but you're looking up instead of down.
Yes, and I wanted to tell my friend next to me how I felt, but I couldn't find the right words.
It's so frustrating when you have this huge, deep emotion and the language just fails you.
Totally. We want to discover the deep secrets of the universe, but at the same time, we also just want to tell our friends about a cool star we saw.
That is the real beauty of it. You don't need to memorize the names of complex constellations.
You don't need to know exactly how far away a distant planet is.
You just need to know how to share the wonder of it all with someone you care about.
Wonder. What a perfect word for this. It feels like a cozy, warm blanket.
Today, we are going to give you the language to do exactly that.
We're going to break down the wall between you and the universe.
No expensive telescopes required. Just you, us, and a few simple everyday phrases.
You know, last Tuesday, I was walking my dog Buster quite late. The streetlights were actually completely broken on my entire block. I stopped, tilted my head, and just had to look up at the sky.
Look up at. That is our very first phrase today. It sounds super simple, right? But it feels incredibly intentional.
Exactly. You aren't just seeing something by pure accident. When you look up at something, you are pausing your busy life. You are actively choosing to observe.
You are giving the dark sky your full, undivided attention. It is a quiet moment of pure wonder.
You've been there, right? Walking home completely exhausted after work, then suddenly pausing to just look up at the moon.
Honestly, those quiet nighttime moments are the absolute best. It makes you feel so small, but in a good way.
I mean, definitely. It really puts your daily stress into perspective.
But sometimes the sky is cloudy, like it usually is here in England.
Oh, tell me about it. A completely gray, heavy blanket.
You stare at the dark, distant clouds hoping for a break.
Right. And then for just one tiny second, the heavy clouds part.
And you catch a glimpse of a single bright star.
Catch a glimpse. I absolutely love the feeling of this phrase.
It feels lucky, doesn't it? Like you share a little secret.
Yes, to catch a glimpse means you see something very briefly. It feels like magic, like a tiny, fleeting reward.
It is like you managed to discover a hidden treasure in the sky, before the clouds just swallow it up again.
So true. Well, here's your practical tip to use tomorrow.
Next time you're outside at night, do not look at your phone.
Seriously, keep that screen in your pocket.
Just look up at the dark sky for a second.
See if you can catch a glimpse of something beautiful up there.
But here's the weird part about catching that glimpse of the dark sky.
Oh, I know. Your brain plays a really funny trick on you.
It does. You look up and think, wow, space is just nice wallpaper.
Exactly. We act like we are the absolute main characters of space.
We totally assume Earth is the center of everything.
But that's a huge mistake. We're just a tiny, distant speck.
We completely forget about everything that exists beyond our own little bubble.
That brings up a really great phrase, to take for granted.
Oh, I love this one. How does it actually feel to say it?
It feels a bit guilty, honestly, like a heavy sigh.
Yeah, it's not just simply forgetting a random fact.
Right. It feels like you're carelessly ignoring a precious gift.
You expect something to always be there, so you stop appreciating its magic.
We take for granted that Earth is the only place with life.
We assume we're alone, which changes your whole point of view.
That's our next phrase, a point of view. It feels deeply personal.
It's your specific lens on the world.
Exactly. It feels stubborn sometimes, right? Like putting on tight horse blinders.
Yes, from our point of view, the night sky is just a flat ceiling.
But scientists observe the galaxy and see billions of other wild, spinning planets.
It's a completely different perspective. Think about that for a second.
It really makes you feel incredibly small, doesn't it?
Honestly, it's a really beautiful kind of small.
It is. Well, here's your practical tip to use tomorrow.
Find a completely normal object in your house you take for granted.
Maybe your hot shower, or even a really warm winter blanket.
Look at it from a brand new point of view today.
Realize how lucky you are to have it, and just say thanks.
Speaking of changing your point of view, humans built massive machines to do exactly that.
We couldn't just stay in our backyards with tiny, cheap binoculars.
We dragged giant telescope parts up to the tops of freezing, isolated mountains.
It is funny. Culturally, humans are totally obsessed with making things bigger.
Honestly, yes. We love feeling like giants. Bigger cars, bigger phones.
But with telescopes, building them huge actually lets us zoom in on tiny details.
Oh, zoom in. That phrase feels incredibly deliberate.
It does. It feels like pulling a distant object right up to your nose.
Exactly. You ignore the big picture because you want the hidden secret.
You crop out everything else. The edges just disappear completely.
Like when you zoom in on a group photo on your phone screen.
You just want to see if your brother blinked in the background.
Right. So we use these giant mirrors to zoom in on deep space.
We desperately want to discover things we never knew existed out there.
And once we find something interesting, we focus on it.
Focus on feels very intense, doesn't it?
Totally. It feels like locking a heavy door to shut out the noisy world.
You channel all your mental energy into one single tiny spot.
Scientists focus on a completely blank, dark patch of the night sky.
They sit and observe it patiently for months on end.
Then they find thousands of colorful galaxies hiding in the dark.
It really makes you wonder what else is out there. I dare you to try this camera trick tomorrow. Find a tiny bug, zoom in completely, and focus on its weird little face.
That sounds absolutely terrifying, honestly.
Well, maybe just a flower petal then.
Yes, Here's a practical tip to use at the office tomorrow.
Just tell your boss, I need to focus on this report today.
It sounds very professional.
It shows you're giving that specific task your full, undivided attention.
You know, giving space our full attention costs billions of dollars.
It really does, and people constantly argue over how to describe that huge cost.
Well, I hear people say it simply isn't worth the money.
I actually disagree completely. I think that is way too polite for most critics.
Oh, really? What do you hear people saying instead?
People are much harsher. They usually call it a total waste of time.
That is harsh. If you saw $1 billion rocket, what would you say?
Between worth the money and waste of time, the gap is huge. Let me show you how each one actually feels.
Right. Worth the money feels exactly like holding a balancing scale.
Exactly. You're calmly weighing the heavy cost against the potential value.
You look at a distant planet through a lens.
Then you look closely at the massive price tag.
You ask, is it worth the money to discover new rocks?
It is a very measured, thoughtful feeling. It invites a discussion.
But waste of time feels entirely different, doesn't it?
It does. It feels incredibly frustrated and deeply impatient.
It's like throwing your precious hours straight into a black hole.
You look beyond our world and see absolutely no quick benefit.
So you just dismiss it completely. No balancing scale is needed here.
You just frown and say this is a waste of time.
Honestly, using that phrase shuts down the whole conversation immediately.
It really does. So here's a practical tip for tomorrow.
Try to use worth the money in your daily life instead.
Think about buying a really expensive, fancy artisan coffee.
And then you find out it tastes exactly like warm dishwater.
Just take a tiny sip and shake your head sadly.
Then casually tell your friend, well, this wasn't worth the money.
It's polite, very natural, and sounds incredibly native.
But wait, if someone thinks exploring space isn't worth the money, how do you even explain what we actually observe out there?
Honestly, that's a really tough conversation to navigate. So imagine sitting at a cozy pub with that exact friend.
They are loudly complaining about the ridiculous price of rocket fuel.
You lean in close across the sticky wooden table. You say, but the size of the galaxy is just mind-blowing.
Then you softly add, it's hard to imagine how much is out there.
Let's quickly unpack what you just did in that scenario.
You dropped mind-blowing to describe something truly huge.
We need to talk about how this phrase actually feels to say.
It doesn't just mean a fact is mildly interesting or cool. It feels like your brain physically cannot hold the new information.
I mean, it's like pouring a massive swimming pool into a tiny teacup.
That is the absolute perfect way to describe it. You already know that sudden feeling of being totally overwhelmed by facts. I bet you figured that out just from the context.
Exactly. Context is everything. And right after that, you used our second useful phrase. You told your skeptical friend, space is hard to imagine.
This phrase feels completely different from mind-blowing, you know?
Yes, it feels very humbling, almost quiet and gentle.
You're basically admitting temporary defeat to the giant universe.
You try to look far beyond our tiny, familiar solar system.
And the true cosmic distances are just way too huge to picture.
Your brain simply gives up, leaving you completely full of wonder.
Exactly. You know, you can use these phrases anywhere on Earth.
Which brings us directly to your simple tip to use tomorrow.
Next time a friend tells you a crazy, unexpected trivia fact.
Like, maybe they say a blue whale's heart is the size of a car.
Just widen your eyes and shake your head slowly. Look at them and say, wow, that is absolutely mind-blowing.
It's such a wonderfully natural way to keep a conversation going.
All right, it is time for the word review. Let's lock in that vocabulary.
We had some fantastic phrases today. We talked about catching a glimpse of the stars.
That quick, lucky second where you see something truly special.
We also mentioned how easy it is to take for granted the things around us, forgetting to appreciate them.
And we used zoom in to talk about focusing tightly on tiny details. But let's shift to our 5 core words.
First up, you might have heard us say discover.
Now, discover is not just finding a $20 bill in your old jeans. It feels bigger.
It feels like unlocking a mystery. You are the very first person to see this new thing.
It has a spark of pure excitement, a real light bulb moment.
Exactly. For your use it tomorrow example, try this. I took a wrong turn on my walk and managed to discover a beautiful little garden.
Perfect. Moving on, you might have heard us say beyond.
I love this word.
Beyond feels like standing at a fence and looking at the dark woods on the other side.
It's the unknown. It's everything past the line you can clearly see or understand.
It stretches your imagination.
Here's a use it tomorrow example. The chef's new chocolate dessert was completely beyond anything I have ever tasted.
Oh, that sounds delicious. Our next word is observe.
You might have heard us say observe when talking about telescopes.
Observe is not a quick look, it's deeply intentional.
Yes, it feels patient. You cross your arms, stand still, and let the details come to you.
You're studying something without touching it. Very peaceful.
Here's your use it tomorrow. If you sit quietly by the lake, you can observe the ducks teaching their babies how to swim.
Great one. Word number 4 is distant.
You might have heard us say, Earth is a tiny, distant speck.
Distant feels incredibly far. It feels like a long, tiring journey.
It has a quiet, almost lonely echo to it, a huge gap of space or time.
Like looking at a mountaintop from miles away.
Try this use it tomorrow example. Late at night, I love listening to the rumble of a distant thunderstorm.
That is so cozy. Finally, we have wonder.
You might have heard us say, the night sky makes you wonder.
This word feels like a giant question mark made out of clouds.
It's curiosity mixed with awe. Your brain is daydreaming.
You don't need a strict answer. You just enjoy asking the question.
Exactly. Here's your final use it tomorrow. Looking at these ancient ruins makes me wonder how people lived thousands of years ago.
Learning a new language can sometimes feel like staring up at a dark, endless sky.
It really can. You look at all those grammar rules and it just feels totally overwhelming. It's easy to feel like you're just lost in space.
But remember, you don't need to map out the entire galaxy in one single night.
No, you just need to find one bright star, one new phrase you can use tomorrow.
Exactly. Our big takeaway today is this. Talking about space and the universe is easier than you think, even if you're not a scientist.
You just need a few simple words to connect. So here's your challenge for this week.
Try using the phrase look up at tomorrow.
Even if you're just looking up at the ceiling or a tall tree, just try speaking it out loud.
And we want to hear from you. Tell us in the comments, what is the most beautiful night sky you've ever seen?
I cannot wait to read those. I absolutely love a good stargazing story.
Did you discover a new constellation? Did you feel a real sense of wonder? Let us know.
We read every single comment. It truly makes our day.
It really does. Next time, you know that frustrating feeling when you have the perfect idea in your head, but the moment you open your mouth, your mind goes completely blank?
Oh, I hate that feeling. It is the absolute worst.
We've all been there, and we'll show you exactly how to handle it.
It's going to be a total lifesaver. You really won't want to miss it.
Until then, keep looking up. This has been the Daily Spark Radio.
See you next time.